Hey everybody, this is John. Welcome to the free video. Let's dive in and take a look at some setups. This is a nice one we've been watching today on Netflix. So when you get a situation like this where the correlation ribbon is on top, you've got a squeeze, you've got some power, we want to get aggressive with a long position. Now, this probably the most common question I get is, okay, how do you know why sometimes do you buy calls? Okay, and then why sometimes would you do just a put credit spread or a call debit spread? When do you pick one over the other? Okay, so the only time I want to buy a call on a bullish setup, or of course if it's a bearish setup, buy a put, is when you have strong correlation, okay, that we just saw there, strong correlation. 2, you got to squeeze. 3, squeeze with power, okay? And when I see all that, the odds of it having either an expected move in a 1 or 2 day period as opposed to multiple weeks is very, very high. Okay, that's the first part. And then secondly, it's a move that can last for 2 to 3 to 4 consistent days in a row. That's where you get the most bang for your buck with a long call. Because otherwise, if it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, then you're actually better off with the calls and debit spreads. Okay, so in that particular setup, I'd be fine just doing the calls. Okay. Now, does it hurt to add a put credit spread and a call debit spread? Of course not. That's great. My theta decay would be higher if it weren't for those. Now, what I do with this is I get more aggressive in terms of a target with these and give these a little bit more elbow room. Okay, so if we come over here and we look at Netflix and just say, all right, well, here's Netflix in terms of what's a logical target here. I mean, I'm not looking for the biggest move on the planet here. I'm just looking for a logical move. And let's actually do this a different way. I think this is easier to do this just by doing retracements. And so let's just go here, that high to this low. And then if we look at this, you can see that let's go over here now. I'll pan. It's like, doop. And we can see that the 1272 extension is around $145.43. That's not too far from where we are now, but that would be a place where I would be willing to sell the calls, or at least half of them, with the idea that maybe we could get up to the 1618. But the put credit spread, hey, it's down here. It's fine, right? The call debit spread, not as much pressure. But when you own an outright call, that is a depreciating asset. You're looking for this thrust. And when you get into this level, you got to be aggressive about taking it off, okay? All right, so now contrast this with Google. So with Google, if we're looking at the correlation, it's right in the middle. Okay, boring. Is there a squeeze? No. So, no squeeze, no power. Look at here. That was a squeeze, boom, power, right? So right now, what are we expecting with Google? Well, easy. We're expecting nothing. Okay, so if we're expecting nothing, does that mean we can't place a trade? Well, the answer to that is no. You actually can place a trade. So in this case, because of the indicators, okay, and since they're not indicating that we're looking for a big move, in fact, it's indicating that we're not looking for anything, that's when we go to do an iron condor, okay? And today it edged up to that upper part of the condor, so we initiated a new call credit spread, bringing a little bit of extra credit. Obviously, in a perfect world here, we close below 832.50, but if we bump up against that, we can certainly close this out. And focus on working on this new iron condor with this put spread and this call spread. But the main point is we are expecting up one day, down the next, up one day, down the next, in a premium destroying move. All right. So anyway, those are two awesome indicators and how we're using them in this market. If you're interested in these indicators, you haven't already picked them up, we do have a special on these that's lasting, I think, for either 1 or 2 more days. You can buy these individually. That's that sector SPY one. This is probably the individual one people like the most. The Launchpad indicator, that's showing you the power behind the squeeze. You got the Credit Sniper, which is fun. It's, what is it, 597, 297, and 197, or you could bundle them all up for 697. And I found that they've been very useful, and they're useful for showing you when to buy call and when to do an iron condor. And it's just showing, you can learn all this stuff of calls and iron condors, but you got to know when to use them. And these indicators have been very helpful about when to use what strategy. So anyway, hope it helps. Have a great night. See you at the next update.